Gilbert Gottfried died today, and if you're not familiar with him, you might know him from your childhood as the voice of the Aflac Duck. But he was also a stand up comic, also a movie actor, does some amazing segments on The Howard Stern Show, but also was a controversial comedian who said and did a lot of controversial stuff. In fact, he had some tweets that got him fired as the Aflac Duck. And I'm going to be honest with you, those tweets were offensive. In fact, back in 2011, after a tsunami hit Japan, he said that the Japanese are really advanced. They don't go to the beach comes to them. And then, as a follow up to that tweet, he said that Japan just called why my jokes might be killing here in the United States. Over in Japan, they are sinking because, again, tsunami. This is the kind of comedy that I grew up on, for the record. In fact, I was listening to Sam Kinison again the other day, and whereas I did not agree with most of what Sam had to say even back then, even though I found it offensive, I found it technically funny. I can recognize that the jokes that Gilbert were telling there are funny without actually finding them funny. Like, I get that they are jokes, I get the structure, at the time I probably wouldn't have laughed, even now I'm not laughing. And Gilbert actually talked about this in a documentary I wish I could show you the footage of, but it's called Can We Take a Joke? You can find it on Amazon. I know it's probably elsewhere, but it's a really good watch. But in that documentary and elsewhere, Gilbert talked about the fact that he may have lost that job and been one of the very first victims of cancel culture, but he never was really canceled, right? Because he went on to do stand-up. He went on to do comedy. He went on to do documentaries and get paid doing it. So was he really canceled? While he did lose a multi-million-dollar contract, he got to continue working, right? And it's just proof that you can't cancel some people, whereas others can get canceled very quickly, very easily. And I think I figured out why. If your brand is the same as Gilbert Gottfried's brand, which is, I'm a good person, but I tell edgy jokes for a living, then you can never be canceled for telling edgy jokes because that's your brand. That's your entire reputation. Take Joe Rogan, for example. Joe Rogan will say some things that are considered offensive and stupid from time to time, but that's what Joe Rogan's known for. That's what he gets paid $1 billion a year for. He's not that clever. He's a bit of a meathead, and sometimes he says dumb shit. And that's okay because you can't cancel him for saying dumb shit because that's why people are tuning in, to listen to him say dumb shit sometimes. However, if your brand is a culture of love and acceptance and inclusivity and diversity and kindness, and that's what your audience expects from you, when you make one mistake, when you say something that Joe Rogan or an edgy comedian would say, you're going to be crucified for it. Every time. So this afternoon, I tweeted, completely oblivious to what was going on, that if you cultivate an audience that likes it when you criticize others, that when that audience grows and changes, or as you grow and change, eventually that audience will drift apart and they will learn to criticize you, often unfairly. And turns out that was applicable to somebody else here on YouTube today. I didn't know it at the time, and I'm not going to say who because I promised to leave their name out of my mouth, but someone had just stuck their foot in their mouth on their show and people were talking about it and they thought I meant them. But in reality, this lesson goes all the way back to the Bible. Judge not, lest ye be judged, right? I don't believe in everything in the Bible. I don't agree with a lot of the Bible, but that one's a good one. I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way. But when a content creator like Leafy, who is kind of edgy, kind of mean, kind of crappy, says something mean or edgy or crappy, you really can't cancel for that. Sure, YouTube can fire him, but it doesn't change the fact that he's got a tremendous number of fans who still very, very much care for him because that's what he was known for, right? You might get fired, people are still going to love you. But if a content creator like, I don't know, Destiny came out tomorrow and started praising capitalism or talking about how certain groups of people were the reason capitalism failed, right? Like the audience that Destiny has cultivated will turn on him immediately. I mean, a lot of them turned on him for buying a house or buying a car, right? So it makes sense when you're on the left and you're preaching inclusivity and kindness and love that when you misstep and you do not show inclusivity, you do not show kindness, you do not show love, people are going to get pissed. And I think for the new crop of YouTubers we see coming up right now, I think they've learned this lesson because even when they will make jokes about other people or content they're reacting to, they're kind about it, they're respectful about it. even when they're criticizing others, they're kind about it, they're respectful about it. I think in part because when it's their turn to be criticized, I think they want to be treated fairly, and I don't blame them. When it comes to the more colorful old guard people like Leafy and Keemstar and other people that will go in hard, right? Like, they don't have to worry because their brand is going in hard. YouTube might kick them off the platform one day, but they'll still have an audience because they're known for going in hard. So they can say and do pretty much whatever the hell they want, and no one's going to be able to change it. But when content creators like me make a misstep, after years of me saying the LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff that I've said, if I make a racist joke tomorrow, if I make an LGBTQ joke tomorrow, if I make an offensive joke tomorrow, it could definitely be the end of me. 110%. I know. I've been there. And that brings me back to Gilbert, who told one of the most offensive versions of the aristocrats ever told. And if you haven't heard it and you would like to be horribly offended today, I recommend you look it up here on YouTube. It's here. I've seen it. Every time I hear it, I vomit in my mouth a little bit. But it's funny. And when you listen to other comedians' testimonials after Gottfried died, but of course before, if you look at the documentaries that were done about him, if you look at the interviews, if you listen to the Stern segments, he was an actually really good guy. He was somebody who walked the walk and definitely did not talk the talk. He definitely liked to tell horribly offensive jokes. In fact, he was quoted as once saying, of course I think before I speak. I think twice. But I say it anyway. And now so far in 2022, we have lost both Bob Saget and Gilbert Gottfried, two of the last remaining comedians who are actually genuinely amazing people behind the camera and horrible monsters on camera. And that sucks. That sucks. It really does. In fact, in the documentary that I watched, several comedians mentioned, including Gottfried, that they are terrified to play that character on stage these days because it can ruin your life. Even if you're a good person beneath all of that, telling those types of jokes can ruin everything. But for some reason, in this sick, bizarre twist of fate, we are at a point now where people who are actually monsters off camera can be monsters on camera and not just get away with it, but get paid millions to do it. What the hell happened? Since I got rolled over by the YouTube community and elsewhere, I decided that I was going to drastically change the way I criticized other people. And I've tried really hard to do that, though I'm not always successful, especially when I'm angry or sad or hurt by somebody. I can be a little harsh, and I regret it. I am desperately trying to become the person that I always wanted to be, the person I'm still trying to be to this day, the person that believes, don't judge lest ye be judged. And I don't want to be judged. And you know what? I'm probably going to get judged either way. But two wrongs don't make a right. I don't need to be judging other people harshly or critically or anything like that. It's like, who the hell am I to say that somebody else is living their life right or wrong? I mean, there's some pretty obvious cases, right? Obvious. But 99% of the time, if they're not harming other people, why should anybody care what I have to say? Why should they care? Why should you care? Shit, why should I care what I think about it? Just let them be. Meanwhile, I'll probably still continue to do the thing that my idols taught me to do growing up, like Bob Saget and Gilbert Gottfried. I'll probably continue to play an awful person on Twitch and continue to be a good person in real life and probably get judged for it, but hey, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I really love offensive humor. Not as offensive as Bob or Gilbert, but still, I do like to make offensive jokes and laugh at inappropriate things, and I'll probably keep doing it. Now, as usual, this is one man's opinion. I know I could be wrong, and if I am, you're going to let me know down in the comment section below. While you're down there, you're going to drop a like on this video because I know you liked it. And if you're not already subscribed, you should be, and you should turn on those notification bells because whenever I talk about topics like this, YouTube doesn't always push it out, and I know you want to see it when I do. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again soon. And I hope you're having a good life.